Hi, my name is Brian, and this is my 2021 BMW X5 M50i. I'm going to take you around the outside, the inside, and take it for a ride and do a cold start. Let's start at the front end here. One thing I wanted to point out, I made like very slight modifications. Like, for example, this grille surround is anthracite gray, but I do have the original factory. I have a duplicate grille, including this part, these parts, and the outside, all black. So that will come with the car in case you don't like this. But the reason I did that is that the wheels are anthracite. They're Vossens, they're HF5s, 22 by 10.5, which makes them an inch wider than a stock wheel. And the tires are also wider. They're 285 40 22s, Michelin Pilot Sport 4Ss. And I do have the original factory wheels and tires. They're like brand new and they don't come with the vehicle, but I would add them to the sale if that was something that you wanted. Anyway, before we go any further towards the back, I wanted to just point out that this has the laser headlights, and that's what those little blue pieces are. They indicate it. Anyway, the way they work is when you have the high beams on, when you hit 37 miles an hour, the lasers turn on. Let's go over here. The rear tires are 325 35 22s, and they're 11.5-inch rims. So instead of having 275s in the front and 315s in the back, it's 285s and 325s. With these wheels and tires, it has a different stance. They fill up the wheel wells a little bit more, both from a width and a height standpoint. But the main thing about them, besides looking good, is the ride is phenomenal. I mean, it's much more compliant than with the stock tires, yet it still handles excellently. It has the dynamic handling package, which disconnects the rear stabilizer bars, when you're on a straight road, smooth road, so that you can get a better ride, and then engages them around turns. Look at the car. The only thing I did back here is I got new badges and had them painted by a body shop to match those wheels, and somehow they look black, even though they're anthracite. These are, I got these, I added them on. They just literally go right over the original single opening ends, tips, and I didn't really like those because you could see the two tips inside. This is the style of the M60i, but if you didn't like them, they could come off. They're basically a very strong double-sided tape holding it on. Let's see on this side. So basically everything I said about the other side is true on this side. Let's see. All right, I guess what we'll do now is I'm going to show you the inside and then take it for a little ride. So before I do, they want to make sure you have a cold start. So I'm going to do a cold start using the key, because it has the remote start, which works either from an app or the key. You just push the BMW logo 3 times. We'll let it slow down to a normal idle. Goes in like 2 stages from this. It's like the middle stage. Any second. There it goes. And now we're just down to a regular, very quiet, normal idle. Okay, we're gonna go inside. It's kind of dark in here, but I wanted to show you before we went for a ride or explain anything else what the interior LED lighting looks like. You do have a variety of colors you can choose from. All different colors here. Orange, white, orange. Anyway. But besides that, if you look at the speakers, they are lit up too to match the color. However, if you click over here where it says white lighting, now if you look at the speakers, they stay white. Just a kind of a neat feature, but what's really neat is if you look up at the sunroof. It's, you know, got the little starry night kind of thing where the colors of the roof match whatever the ambient color you choose is. So let me change colors to a different color. Let's go green. Now it's green. And it's both parts, the front part and the back part. I think it's pretty neat. There we go. Anyway, so now I'm going to put the lights on because this is kind of be a weird video otherwise. I now have the backup camera in the 3D view. You know, that's where you can see the car from all different sides, front, back. But also, you know, it has the automatic parking where it'll back into space or go forward into space, and it'll parallel park. I never really use that where I live. There's just no need for it. But this backup assistant is pretty nice. You hit that and you see the green lights light up on the steering wheel, and that lets you know that it's on. And basically what it does is it will retrace its steps in reverse, exactly the opposite way of the way you were when you came in. And anyway, it's pretty cool. Let's see, next. Let me just take you through some of the controls. Over here, this all has to do with the cruise control. You know, turning it on, setting it, what mode it's in, how close to the car in front of you want to be. You can adjust that with these. But the thing that's, you know, pretty cool is that it does steer for you. But like most cars that do, other than like a Tesla that drives completely by itself, you have to put your fingers on the wheel every now and then. Except if you're in just the right condition on the highway. If you're on the highway in traffic and you're going under 40 miles an hour and you have the cruise control on, it will it'll activate plus. I can't actually remember the word before plus, but it'll say plus, and then you just push this mode button, and then you don't have to touch the wheel at all. I mean, at all. It's complete self-driving up to 40 miles an hour. It stops, it goes. It's really nice if you're in traffic. In here, you have a USB. You also have a 12-volt socket, a couple of cup holders. This is the wireless charging tray, little storage area, glove compartment. Those are books, and these have never been opened. The only one that's been opened is the owner's manual. I didn't open any of the other stuff. Let's see. These buttons are configurable to radio station. You know, it can remember whether you're in Sirius or FM, and you can also program different functions of the computer system so that you can call it up right away here. Like, for example, I believe mine, I have number one is the sound profiles. And the Bowers and Wilkins, oops. The Bowers and Wilkins stereo is pretty phenomenal. Tremendous bass, tremendous clarity. You don't need to play it loud for it to sound great, but it sounds great either way. This center console, you know, it opens as storage inside. There's also a USB-C connector in there, and they're heated. This armrest is heated, as well as the armrest on the door and the one on the passenger side as well, which is just, it's really kind of nice. So the steering wheel's heated. That's what this button is for. And over on the door here, on the driver's door, the bottom button is for the massage. Is that the massage? No. The top button is for the massage. And you see it shows up here. And you could choose, you know, what kind of massage you want and the strength of the massage. And it's pretty nice. You know, let's see, like lumbar, the massage level. This, if that's if you just touch it, it will display on the screen. Or you could turn it off. The button below it, with the single LED, is to move the passenger seat with the driver's seat controls. So if the passenger seat's really far forward and you want to get it back and level with yours, you just push that button and then you use your controls. Let's see, what else do we have? There's a little glove compartment over here. It's, you know, a good place to store things. And what I actually store in there is, and you'll see them as I'm driving, these little they're like finger gloves. I'll show them to you and why I use them. Okay, over here we have the drive modes. You've got adaptive, which is just what it sounds like. It adapts to your driving conditions and the way you're driving. Auto hold, what that does is you push that and then when you come to a stop, you can let go of the brake and the car doesn't move. Eco Pro, that's like an economy mode. Never used that even once. Comfort, just what it sounds like. And then Sport has several different modes. If you look over here, you have Standard, that's just standard sport mode. Plus is the most aggressive. And then Configure Individual allows you to make your own settings. So, for example, I have damping on Comfort, steering on Sport, engine on Sport, transmission Comfort. And you can always reset it. So this is like, you know, customizing it the way you want it. And when you do that, also, if you notice my displays, look over here on my displays, let me just show you something. One second. There we go, displays. Okay, see where it says driving mode? What that does is, if you watch the gauges now, see how they got lighter? They're not bright now, they're bright. That's when you have it in that mode. In Sport, for example, it's like this bright white. If you put it in Econo, then it goes, there's some blue in it. So anyway, I usually have it on Sport Individual, and I usually have the display brighter just because I like, you know, it shows up really well during the day if it's really sunny out. By the way, speaking of sunny, the windows are tinted, the front windows are tinted. Not as quite as dark as the back. The back is factory. And what else? Oh yeah, the headliner. This Alcantara headliner. It was really important to me to have that. You know, finding this car, it was tough because I wanted to get all those features, the adaptive cruise control, I wanted the Bowers & Wilkins stereo, I wanted the massaging seats. These were like all must-haves. And it was hard to find one car that had everything. So I was like, you know, I'm definitely not getting a black car because my last car was black. And then it's the black car because the car was, it had all the features. Anyway, this is also, you know, the upgraded interior, the seats, and the back seat car. It looks like it's never been sat in because I don't think it has been sat in. When I bought this car, it had 17,000 miles. It has like 42 and a half now, and it's really been a great car. I really enjoyed it, you know. Very responsive engine. I don't know if you were thinking between this and X5M like I was, and I almost bought the X5M, and then I watched a bunch of videos, and too many of them said it rode really rough, and I just kept looking for the video that said it didn't ride rough. And anyway, after test driving it, for me, it was too rough. That's why I got this car. I've always had the full M until this, and you know what? This has got the exact same amount of torque as the X5M. It's absolutely just as quick off the line. It's just that after you get past 60 or so, then the other one's going to be faster. But I mean, by that time, you're going really fast. And I don't know about where you live, but in Florida, they changed the law that if you go over 100 miles an hour, you're going to be arrested. So that's not happening for me. Anyway, so we're going to go for a ride. That's it. Okay, so you remember that I had mentioned the finger glove thing. So first of all, the reason I have them is because, I don't know about you, but I am constantly wiping off the screen otherwise because it's always got fingerprints, and I'm a little OCD, so I'm always cleaning stuff. So I thought, you know, there's got to be something, and I found these little finger gloves that are actually meant for like gamers. So here's like what it looks like. They come like in a bag. I'm constantly losing them too, but they're so cheap it doesn't matter. That's what I keep in that little glove compartment. And they work perfect. I can touch, you know, whatever. It works just as good as a bare finger, but no fingerprints. So that's why I have them. Anyway, what else did I want to show? Oh, speaking of fingers and things to touch, this button here, that is the heated and air conditioned seats. You can have them both actually on at the same time. Like if you had like a backache, but you were hot, you know, I've actually done that. Or one or the other. And whichever one you had on last, when you turn them off from here, that's what'll go on next. So but it also pops up that on the screen, and therefore you know you can change it right away. I mean, and it goes away too. Turn it off. License plate? Yeah. Anyway, like I mentioned earlier, that has Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and pretty convenient. It's pretty well integrated into the car. One of them, I believe, will show the navigation like on the heads up, but you know, like the factory one does, the BMW one does. Let's see. Well, just take a little ride so you can. I don't know how effective that is while you're watching this on screen, but can you feel the good ride? Anyway, this is a great car. I love this car. The only reason I'm getting rid of it is because I only have a 2-car garage, and my wife wanted an electric car, so that's what she got. And she was driving this because I got an RSQ8, and so now I don't need 2 big 4-door black V8 German SUVs. So I'm keeping the Audi because I got it later, and it's a little different. Anyway, this car, it just drives like, it feels like you're connected to it. You'll really have to, I don't know if you've driven an X5 before, but even going back, I had X5s back in like 2002, and I had a 4.6 IS, which was like the fastest one they had back then. And it just, the ergonomics was so good. I mean, the way the armrest was and the steering wheel, and you know what? It's still like that. This is such an easy car to drive, such a relaxing car to drive, yet it's very quick. You know, like I said, it's got the same exact torque as the X5M, 553 foot-pounds, but it's like instant. There's no delay, and the transmission, it's like you just think downshifting and it downshifts. It's that good. It's that intuitive. It just knows what to do. Better than any other car I've had, including my RSQ8. I wish this transmission was in the RSQ8. Well, one thing I'm going to do now is just do a kind of an acceleration run. I'm not going to do anything special. I'm not going to put it in sport or anything. You don't need to, because this thing is just always fast, no matter what position it's in. Anyway, that's about all I ever do. I don't even do that. I'm just doing it to show you. But it does feel good. It's nice to know that you have enough power to merge, or if you want to get in a spot in traffic, you've got enough power for that easily. And the rest of the time, it's very happy to just drive along at the speed limit and be comfortable and look good. The engine is nice and clean. I like to keep the engine compartment clean. It really makes the car look old if you don't. So you probably know that the turbos are in the center of the V. And I mean, really all I can tell you here is that it's clean. And as far as the body goes, so you know, I wanted to show you something here. The car had paint protection film on the front fenders, the hood, and the front bumper. So I left it on the hood and the fenders for a while, but I really didn't like the way it looked because it was, I don't know, it just started to look a little hazy. So I had it removed on the hood and the fenders just recently. So it's like brand new paint. And the whole car was professionally ceramic coated by a nut that I know who is, I say he's a nut because he works on the car like 12 hours usually. Nice guy though. Anyway, so what did I want to tell you? So let's see, I think somewhere, yeah, there's like a little teeny chip there. And there might be a little teeny one there. Look, you know you're gonna get chips, but the thing is what I do, I actually have the guy do it, is I use Dr. Color Chip, and they make this little squeegee. You just drop the paint into the chip and you run it over with the little squeegee, and then you clean it off, and it's like fills in the hole like it was never there. But anyway, that's really like only just a couple of chips in the car. And on the front, the sides of the car, there's no chips, there's no scratches, and there's no dings, which is important. If there was a ding, I would have gotten it removed. Luckily there wasn't, and I didn't try to do it myself. So I used to have a business when it first came out called Dingbats, and turned out my friend and I were the Dingbats. Couldn't do it. Anyway, so that's about it. Oh, I did want to show you one more thing. These are the original wheels and tires, 22s, and you can see that there's a ton of tread on them. So they're not included in the sale of the vehicle, but if you wanted to buy them, whatever rules that Cars and Bids had for how that works, add it to the sale or whatever, I'd be happy to sell them. Anyway, that's about it. So thank you, and have a good day.